When you do the lying down meditation, you stabilize the awareness nature until the mind enters Sati. When mind enters Sati, your mind is all the time in Sati. So during that time, you hardly think. But when it is aware and mindful, there is no thought. That's why there is a lot of space. There's a lot of clarity, tranquility, stillness. Then you only need to arise them when you need to use them to live life, to communicate, to develop understanding, to contemplate, to reflect. So all this, the cultivator will come to understand. And all this that I share just now, you go and check the textbook. Where got textbook write about this? How to train the mind, how to develop the understanding. So this is very beautiful. So now you understand the space between thought, because you realize living being think a lot. At least you have trained yourself to develop some form of mindfulness and you are more aware inwardly, so that there is understanding. You are not completely, like last time, heedlessly lost in thought, think a lot. The mental hindrance are there all the time, overwhelming, overtaking, and creating havoc in you. But now, with your understanding, you are more aware. And most of the time when you are contemplating, reflecting, you are not heedless. You are not lost in thought. That's why all this become the transformation that take place slowly. From heedless way of living, you have become more and more mindful, more and more heedful. That's how you transform. If you don't stabilize your silent mind awareness nature until the mind enters Sati, your daily mindfulness cannot be like very graceful or connected, because the mind that is not trained without the stability of inner awareness or mindfulness cannot be mindful all the time. If in the what we call formal meditation, when you sit or you lie down and you don't move, you cannot stabilize that mind or awareness, then do you think you stand a chance when you come out into daily life? Cannot, because your sixth sense door is so active, fully engaged while living life. So to develop mindfulness and awareness in the midst of life is not easy. That's why I realized through my own cultivation in the early days that when I sit, last time I used to sit first initially, and I did anapanasati, mindfulness, until the mind becomes so subtle and so still, until the mind enters sati. Then when the mind enters sati, I realize everything is like magnified. Then everything I do is in sati. My hand movement, how I arise from the sitting, how I walk, how I move, how I do whatever, my clothing or whatever. There is awareness, there is mindfulness, body and mind as one, bowing, everything is the same. Then I realize I don't have to do anything to be mindful. Yeah, the mind has entered sati. Then every moment of hearing, no interference from the brain, everything. It's just pure hearing. Smell also same, that pure. Then if you want to perceive, it can perceive. If you don't want, it stop there. Then it has awareness all the time, aware. Then whatever happens, there is no fear, nothing, no movement of thought. It will not create and stir like last time. That's how I came to know that the daily mindfulness can come about, provided you have stabilized your silent mind, your sati. Stabilize means you meditate until it's so quiet, so still, so tranquil that the mind enters sati. Means the mind is in sati. Means that mind becomes the true mind. It's no more the thinking mind. That's why that true mind can be in the state of specific phenomenal awareness. That's why body and mind move as one. Physical phenomena. Then all of nature, when you see or you hear the vibration, all is like the awareness and the thing as one. It's no longer last time. You go and see, then create the thought and input the content of consciousness. You perceive that you create a lot of movement inside there. Your mind stir, react, and do all those funny things. No more. Then I realized, hey, this is what Dhamma is. This is what the teaching is. But how many people can reach that state to understand all this. That's why now there is condition I can share and move deeper into it. In the past, there is no condition. That's why for those who can recall, I used to tell you all, unless there is condition, the Dhamma cannot come out. What my nature has gone through, realized and understood is a lot more. Like the Buddha said, the leaf above the forest compared to the essential Dhamma, the handful of leaves. What the Buddha knew is like the leaf in the whole of the forest. And what he has taught us is the essential form of truth, which is like the handful that is enough for you to develop awakening to become sane, sainthood way. So that is the initial teaching. The sainthood way is important. Then after that, you develop the understanding to go the Bodhisattva way to take the higher teaching, the more extensive and complete teaching. Then during that time, your training is very different. It's not just the initial sainthood way. That's the reason why I always share with you. Actually, the sainthood way is relatively very, very simple and very easy. But of course, people who don't understand, they may not agree. They say you think it's easy to become enlightened. So a lot of people say I can become a Sudapan, I'm very contented already. But these are people who don't really have the understanding of the cultivation. When you have the understanding of the cultivation, the sainthood way is relatively simple, where you don't really have to stabilize much of your awareness nature. You don't even have to connect to your true nature. You can actually meditate until the mind ceases for a moment. They call it a glimpse of cessation. And now, that one can awaken you and become a Sotapanna or a Sakadagami. That's why you look at Avijja Sutta. To have the first stage and second stage of sainthood realization, you don't even have to go to step 8. You only go to step 8 after you have realized either the first or second stage of sainthood. And to realize that what you need to do is, step 1, have Dhamma friend. Step 2, constantly listen to the Dhamma until your initial wisdom is there. Then you develop investigative understanding to have faith in the Buddha and his teaching. So that is step 3. Then step 4 is the initial wisdom, born of second turning, contemplation, reflection, and inquiry. Then after that only you can straighten your view to allow you to have more stability in your mindfulness so that your mind will not stir like before. At the moment of sense experience, the Yoniso Manasikara or wisdom will prompt you at the moment of sense experience. Then you will have the wisdom to come to terms with that reality and be at peace. You just aware, then you move. Means your mind does not react and stir like before. That's how you become more and more peaceful, more and more quiet, and more space between thought. Then when your daily mindfulness stabilizes, you develop Sati Sampajana. That's why Sati Sampajana is not only Sati, clear comprehension, clearly comprehending what is going on. The 4 types of clear comprehension. Sincerity of practice, domain of meditation, suitability, the place, the time, the most important time, the most important place, and the most important people. And finally is non-delusion, clear comprehension. So these 4 will prevent you from deviating, doing the wrong thing. Then from there, you are able to be so mindful and aware that your precept will never be broken anymore. You will have stability in keeping your precept. That's why step 6 lead you to have this ability, sense restraint. Then when you can have sense restraint, step 7 is a natural occurrence or natural tendency. So step 7 means the 3 types of right conduct, right speech, right thought, and right action. So these 3, once you can do it, in fact, When you reach step 6, you are already a Sotapan, because the Buddha under the teaching did mention a Sotapan cannot break the prison, no matter how, he cannot break the prison, the 5 precepts. And after that, the 3 types of sense restraint will allow you to have that ability not to break the precept. Then after that, the 3 way of right conduct means you continue to purify, to develop right speech, right action, right thought, and right livelihood. And this one will allow you to become the Sakadagami, second stage of sainthood, or second stage of enlightenment. Yeah. So all this is clearly spelled out in the Avijja Sutta. So you will look back, you will develop the understanding. So the whole of the teaching, the training is very, very beautiful. Then you start to see the jigsaw puzzle all falling into place. The mind map that my daughter did. You look at it, it becomes, wow, so beautiful. Everything is connected. And what I recently shared one later on can also go into the mind map to connect up the more important missing link for higher practice, for higher training, cultivation to develop clear understanding. So all these are very beautiful.